What's good? What's good? Rocco says, hey, what's up? He hopes you had a good day. It looks like the sun is out now, but it has been piss poor raining all day, and it was raining and hailing on Tuesday, and we've been siding this house that we're working on. So it's not been the most fun of days, but I persevered, and part of what motivated me through it, something that's just been on my mind a lot lately, is like wanting to start a family. And so I've been thinking about them, and that helped, just motivate me through the suck. Just because I was thinking to myself, if I had a family back home right now, I would just, I'd push through it for them. So why not push through it for them now, before I have them? And based on the title of this video, I want to talk about, I've mentioned it before, but one of the ways that I want to broach and discuss sex with my future daughter, because I'm gonna have a son and a daughter at least, and then I might adopt some kids too. And it's so funny. Right before recording this video, I was smoking a joint, scrolling YouTube, and YouTube recommended I listen to the song "These Arms of Mine" by Otis Redding. If you have never heard that song, and if you're not familiar with the phenomenal music of Otis Redding, I would highly recommend you check it out. And as I was listening to that song, I was like, oh, that's a good recommendation. I was listening to that song, and I saw my wife and I, my future wife and I put the record on because I want to have a record player in our house. I put the record on, and the song "These Arms of Mine," right? They are yearning. Oh, God damn it. I'm so sorry for that. It's the weed. Okay. Her and I pictured my wife and I dancing to this song, just in the kitchen, the living room, wherever we are. And it was in that moment that I knew my daughter was going to be conceived. And I'm so excited for it. And if it doesn't happen that way, that's totally fine. But having these little moments of being able to see the future, it's really nice. It's really encouraging. I felt like the universe was sending me a message with that, the music video choice, or the song choice on YouTube. Anyways, okay. So in my house, we'll have a record player. I'm going to have a study. Like, back in the day, dads used to have the study. And then somehow culture shifted and it became the man cave. So it went from something sort of intellectual and serious to something silly and immature. Almost as if that was intentional. Maybe, maybe not. But so we're bringing back the study. And some of the rules around the study are going to be that when the door is closed, you have to knock and ask if it's okay to come in. And it's very much, it could be yes or no. And so the thought is, only knock if it's urgent. If the door is open, you're welcome to just let yourself in and come and talk to me. And you might be asking yourself, how is this relevant to talking to your daughter about sex? But I see significant parallels to the female sexuality and this concept of the door being open or the door being closed, and knocking and asking for permission to enter, consent. Oh man, right? So let's connect these dots. In my experience, women's sexuality is very much like that, in that sometimes it's just, okay, let's do it, let's go. No foreplay, no warming up, nothing really needed. But then sometimes some foreplay, some encouragement, some relaxation, a massage, let's see where it goes. Sometimes that is required before you get to the good stuff. Or rather, that's the good stuff, but like the really good stuff, right? And then sometimes, even if you do all of that, the massage and the making relaxing, and it's still a no. Just like getting access to my study. Sometimes access is going to be just open. Sometimes it's going to need some work. You're going to need to ask for permission. that knocking. So you can think of the knocking as like the foreplay, or the just the general intimacy that helps a woman feel comfortable. And sometimes, and I want my daughter to just absolutely know that she can say no, right? I'm also gonna train my daughter to use firearms from a very young age, and I'm going to tell her to not feel guilty if she shoots someone trying to rape her. And then I'm also gonna, tell her not to feel guilty for saying no to sex. If she's not in the mood, there's no guilt that should be there. But then I also want to communicate that her partner, her future partner, has needs as well. And so that's where the knocking comes in, right? So it's good to communicate with the partner in terms of things that might be able to help get her in the mood, and to be open to seeing where the road goes. So let me pause real quick so I can... Okay, and so I just want to reiterate, this isn't going to be like the only conversation I have with her, and my wife, excuse me, is going to be entirely included. And also, just before anyone jumps in the comments, what about your son? What are you going to tell him? Maybe I'll do a whole nother video about that. I haven't thought as much about what I'm going to tell him, because consent and the complexity of female sexuality and orgasm, it's more complicated, to be honest. Men can have complicated sex drives, but most of us don't. We're fairly simple creatures. And so that's why I wanted to frame that conversation that way with my daughter, because I think it's a really good starting place to discuss consent, and then, like I said, the complexities of the female sex drive. Like I said, men, we are just so simple. I will talk to my son. I will absolutely have very serious and stern conversations with my son about sexuality, about consent, about the complexity of females. Unless he's gay. Maybe he's gay. And then he would be so lucky. He would be so lucky, because then, he's not gonna have to worry about anything. I mean, unless he's ugly, but even ugly gay dudes get so much more dick than ugly straight dudes get pussy. It's like night and day. I'm wearing the wrong shirt, but the yin and the yang, I see it everywhere, the yin and the yang. So when you think about how much sex a gay guy gets, an ugly gay guy versus an ugly straight guy, it's unless it's a rich ugly straight guy. And that actually leads into a whole nother topic I won't delve into, but I want to kind of touch on. It's been something I've been stewing on for a while. It's why there is so much hatred from the sort of feminist movement, why there's a hatred for working class men. And I'm postulating that in the 50s and 60s, when the whole housewife era was starting to crumble, I think a lot of these prominent feminist women married, not necessarily for money, but they married within their class, instead of marrying the guy that was maybe a mechanic that they loved more or had more passion or chemistry with, or the guy that was a machine shop operator or a plumber even. There's this old trope of the 50s or 60s housewife saying, I should have married Ricardo, but he was just a mechanic. And so these women who had educations found that they didn't maybe have the social compatibility that they did with blue collar type of men, that they had more personal or physical compatibility with. And so there's, the liberal talking point, they like to chastise the trad wife trend because those women were popping all kinds of drugs and whatnot to maintain their sanity or whatever. But I think they needed the drugs because they didn't marry for love and chemistry and passion. They took class into consideration, and we're seeing it now where a very large percentage of women are chasing after a very small percentage of successful, in economic terms, men. That's what's afflicting the dating market today. And that's something I personally think women is their role in evolving as we elevate our collective consciousness. They need to assess their hypergamous nature. Oof, I'm throwing all kinds of shit out there. I'll end it there. Some food for thought, but I cannot wait to fucking start my goddamn family. I just gotta figure out how to make more money, but I'll get there. Much love, y'all.